Oh, so we're live. Hey,
Look at
I
that.
almost got it all done. I mean, it happens. Okay. Well, good morning, friends and gamers on the interwebs. I'm Rachael Blaske, and
I'm Julie Ahern.
And this is episode number 2 of You're Invited, where in this episode, Julie, VP and COO of Greenbrier Games, and myself, CEO of Poketto, will chat over a good cup of coffee, which this morning is unbelievably large and has a lot of lipstick on it, but that's okay. And we're going to talk about the tabletop industry news and a topic that we feel is an important part of running a board game company. All the while, we're going to talk about what you guys are saying in the chat, and because you're invited and you're here now. I'm so happy.
Good morning. Yes. And we are thrilled to be sponsored, speaking of coffee, by Caffeinated Cobalt. And this month we're doing a giveaway of a tasty bag of your choice to a lucky live stream viewer once we hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So we'll drop that link in the chat so that you can help towards that goal for us and help get yourself some tasty coffee.
Oh, tasty coffee. So good. Let me grab that, drop that in. Be a good girl. Oh my goodness, there's Jeremy. Oh, and Laszlo. Oh, it's so wonderful. Oh, wait. Apparently it's mad at me. Am I doing something? I have to do this in the actual Facebook world. Hang on a second. I apparently have to have that up, and if it's loud, this is totally not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. I'm going to comment and put it in. Does that come in? Yes? Yes, no? Anybody know? I'm going to guess that it did come in. Hey, it did! Look. The world works as it's supposed to. My gosh. Oh, and you have a full list of things to talk about this morning in the news.
So there was some stuff that happened this week, and there's a lot of stuff that happens every week, but we are obviously being publishers, focusing on the publishing side. So we had some news. First thing that I want to talk about, Matt Goldrick, who was at Gray Fox Games, is now moving over to QML.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry. My bad. Too many things. There we go.
There you go. So Matt is working now at Quartermaster Logistics. And if anybody out there doesn't know, QML does shipping logistics predominantly for Kickstarters. And so I'm pretty excited about this because I know Matt, and Matt was working with Gray Fox, doing a lot of reaching out to publishers and designers in Europe and to bring them over with Gray Fox, publishing them here in the United States. And then started his own company where he was reaching out to those smaller indie publishers who couldn't get their game over or were just so small and didn't know what to do, and showing them the steps through going through Kickstarter. So I think it's going to be a great fit because at Quartermaster, I know they do big companies, the fulfillment. They've worked with Simon, they've worked with us, White Wizard. They've done the shipping for a lot of different companies. But I do like the fact that they will also have somebody who is happy to work with smaller companies and walk them through what the best options are for how to get their games from Kickstarter into people's hands. So congratulations to Matt. Our next thing is, yes, so Amazon is now requiring people to put the sellers, their address, and where they're from on their page when they're selling. And this is like, for a consumer, that's probably not that big a deal. But for a publisher, that's huge for a couple different reasons. The biggest one for a lot of bigger companies especially is that it means that it's a lot easier to catch somebody at counterfeiting or selling counterfeited games. And that for a bigger publisher is a concern. That happens quite frequently.
Good.
You good?
No, good.
You're okay? You gonna make it?
Had a stroke, but go ahead. All
right. I'm trying to be all serious here. That just totally derailed it.
Yes, Amazon.
Right. Amazon.
Know where you live.
So, right. Counterfeiting, but also you find a lot of times, for example, for our company, our biggest problem is somebody will put up the wrong image. So we have a Kickstarter version of our game Folklore that has the miniatures in it that we sell only. And then in retail, it's available with standees and the miniatures are sold separately. So a lot of people get their game and say, I didn't get the miniatures. You sold this to me. Where are my miniatures? Well, it was sold by a third party. They put the wrong picture up and we saw it and asked them to change the picture and they didn't. And that means an unhappy customer, and it's our responsibility to make them happy, which is a lot of money. So this is good. This is good news for publishers. For Gamma, so Gamma, again, Gamma, a lot of people can get confused. Gamma, there's the Gamma Trade Show and Origins Convention, which is run by John Stacy and his crew that run the business side of Gamma, and then there's the Gamma board. The Gamma board is a governing board that tries to work on programs and outreach things that will help the game community. Well, so far it's been focused on publishers. We're trying to do more than just that and the sales aspect of it at the trade show. We are trying to go past that, and so we're taking steps to do that. One of those things that happened this week in our monthly board meeting was voting on the fact that we need to finalize a code of conduct. So one has been written up. There has been, the code of conduct itself is not, it's actually pretty straightforward so far. It's not a lot of, it's a pretty broad how to be a decent human being. Like it's pretty intuitive. What is the harder piece is how do we as a community enforce it? Mm-hmm. So that is really what the committee would be working on. So anybody listening, if you are interested in being on that committee, they're looking for members, and we would like a diverse group of people to have their input on that, just so you know. Mm-hmm. And then finally, switching back to something fun.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, we're going to talk to you.
Yeah. So the final thing is the taggies. The announcement for who's nominated for the taggies is up, and that's so Chi-Tag is trade show in Chicago for toys and games. There every year I look for the people in the industry that we know, and this year is going to be tough. I've got two heavy hitters. You've got what is it? Hughes and I want to say it's Hughes and Clues.
Yeah, Scott Brady.
Scott Brady.
Mhm.
And you've also got Back to the Future with Chris Leader, who
Uh-huh.
are both nominated in the same category. And it's like,
I know,
I might have to flip a coin.
Ravensburger goes head to head with the Up. Oh.
Yeah. So there's also there's a ton of great things. I saw Blue Orange is in there.
Mhm.
So you've got a good cross section of representation of our community who have been nominated. So congratulations to everybody who was nominated.
Absolutely.
And there we are in the news. So
yes.
Look at this.
I've been looking at all of these comments. They're very excited this morning to see.
Yeah, they are.
Love it. Love it.
I'm glad that everybody's. I'm glad that everybody liked my news section and found it informative.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh, Cynthia, thank you that you love the folklore minis. I'm partial.
Right. And then what was one? I did see Bonacor was really happy about hearing about the code of conduct, because it is a huge thing for people to feel safe in a space that we all are in because of being in the industry.
So let's to clarify.
Yeah.
There is a code of conduct for the shows already in place with how to enforce it. This would be a code of conduct. If you're a member, we recommend you act in this way, and we so a general here's some good best practices, and then here's some hard stops where if you are being reported as doing these things, we're going to take a closer look at whether or not that's a good representation of being a member.
Yes, absolutely. And it sounds like Stephen wants to get more involved, so we'll make sure
that would be amazing.
Get that happening. We did have incredibly important conversations that occurred, like Laszlo with his ridiculous early morning jokes. The man needs more coffee already, obviously, because if that is the joke and this is the answer.
An Origins convention.
You see that?
You gotta say it out loud.
Yeah. Origins. Good job. Nice. Amazon change. Joe thinks that that's great. I don't know if you guys know Joe, but he works with Stonemaier, and so that's really, really cool for a lot of publishers.
Yeah, for a variety of reasons. It keeps the sellers, which most sellers are doing fine. But when somebody isn't, the name that the people see is not the name of the seller. It was the name of the publisher, and now at least there's some recourse for that.
Right. And Allison from Kidsplaining, she's really excited about all these nominees. I know that her boys, they do a little YouTube show where her two sons that are 7 and 11, I think, they I know have reviewed both of those games, Hues and Cues and
that's
Dice and Time. So I'm sure that Peyton and Jared will have a lot to say about these nominees. So
everybody watching, if you want to continue to follow us, what do they need to do, Rachel?
Well, you click the 3 dots up in the upper right-hand corner. You can choose to be notified every time we go live. And we will also drop the link to our YouTube account in the comments, so you can subscribe, and then you can find the archived shows after we're done streaming. But we try really hard to, in the mornings, in the 90 seconds that countdown is going, we're like, click, 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 put it all the places. But if you guys click the 3 dots for us, it'll tell you automatically, and I won't have to have a stroke. So please do that for us. Now what we've got going on, we have, and Julie, did you drop the YouTube link in there for me?
I didn't, but I will.
Oh, good. Thank you. Well, I'm going to announce the topic. I'm real pumped about this topic. It is fantastic. We are going to talk about organizing tips. And this week we put out a post asking about whether or not you're a list person. And I know Kim, she mentioned that she has already implemented the Kanban suggestion that you had from last year, or last Friday. And I'm really excited that we're able to help. So Real quick, we have a lot of things to teach. So everybody get out their little notepads. Even though we it's the end of a long week and I'm sure all of our brains are burnt out, but I am excited to tell you about a couple things that I've learned back for a while ago, and I use them all the time. So let me go ahead and switch this over so that you guys can see us up close and personal. Also, if you guys are having fun, if you want to share the stream right now, we can even have more people come and join and learn all this exciting stuff. And I will get started. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. Brain dumps. That sounds weird. But
sounds funny, but it works.
It does. And it sounds like such a morning topic, right? But brain dumps are amazing in that I get myself all worked up because I try to remember everything, and I hit a level of overwhelm that is so bad. I will just freeze. So when I get to that point, I know I need to sit down, and honestly, it can be as simple as grabbing a piece of paper out of your printer, or if you have a notebook or whatever, and just think of every single thing that's in your head and just start writing. Get it all out. And then as it all is, because I feel like then something's going to happen. Because when it's just there, I'm like, oh, I'm going to forget this. Oh, well, this is going to get missed. But then it's out and it's on paper. And I know a lot of people who even keep a notebook and pen next to their bed. And when they're falling asleep or trying to, and they can't calm down because there's things that they're going to forget tomorrow and they're already planning. And it sounds like something that Julie does all the time, that she just can't let it go.
Nope.
You put that next to your bed and brain dump, get it out of your head, set it on a piece of paper, and it's going to wait for you then. It'll be there in the morning and it's going to get done. So there are two ways to do it. The first one was just put it all out on paper. And another way that I have done when, see, you got your brain dump. It's beautiful. Your dump is beautiful. Good job.
Thank you so much. So classy.
We are so mature. It's ridiculous. What I will say is,
sorry, 2 ways. You were saying there's 2 different ways.
2 ways. The second way, if you are a big picture person, you need to see things right in your face. I took like a while and had big pieces of paper that had a category. Like, okay, this is my work issue. And then like maybe like a work, like for work, you've got 3 projects. And then I made those smaller pieces of paper. And then I also have home, because we all still are trying to balance work and life. And so you've got to have home in your brain dump too. So you've got your home stuff over here. Maybe your kids are in school and you got to deal with Zoom school and you got to put that over here. And then once you have these big ticket items, then you take I usually grab Post-it notes and I do the small stuff. Okay, what in this project needs done? And I will just set it up on the board around that specific category. It's basically mind mapping.
Right. It's exactly mind mapping.
It is mind mapping, but not everybody thinks about using a educational tool to help them organize their business.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, I mean, I think one time I had Halloween up there and I was like, okay, I need to get the kids in costumes and I need to figure out what we're doing for who we're going, like, and all of that was just up on my wall. And it's what I needed at the time because I wasn't looking at my paper enough. And so I just needed it big and bold in my face. And I know a lot of people like whiteboards and things like that. So that's 2 different ways to do a brain dump. And then you have your top-down JIRA.
Correct. So that is the low tech, get it out, which, again, teaching, we did a lot of that as teaching. And then now as a business, finding the equivalent of that. So I talked a little bit about this last week, but to get a little bit more into how it breaks down for Jira. So you have your epic. Your epic is either a product, for us at least, how we organize it. An epic is either a product line, so all of folklore, all of Apocalypse, or all of sales in general, conventions, so big, broad topics. Then your story breaks it down by, so for a product line, it's breaking it down by games or expansions. For sales, it's breaking it, and conventions, it's breaking it down to what is the marketing piece, what is the logistics piece, what is, so it's the smaller but still big pieces of it. Then you have tasks. Tasks breaks it down to, so for a piece like art, design, development, so it's still fairly big, but broken down. And then you have tasks, subtasks. And subtasks are the nitty gritty, specific, here's an achievable goal in a day kind of things that make up the subtask or the task. And then there's bugs. Bugs meaning I can't do it. It's broken. Somebody else take this from my plate, please.
Fix it.
So, if you get a bug, that means somebody else tried and it didn't work. So that's like the organization piece. But then when you assign it, when you're filling it out, that's just a box. You're clicking what category it fills in. When you do the actual thing, just like Trello, just like any of them, you can attach files, you can have links, but you can link it not just outside, but you can link it to other issues so that you can see how it's cross-sectioned with the work that you're working on. You can set up timers so that you can see how much time you spend on it versus what you thought you were going to spend on it. And you can link that timer to a timesheet. So if you're doing that for your company and it's a time-based thing, or even if you're billing different aspects for accounting purposes, so you can do it that way. Change the who's assigned it, but the other pieces you can weight it, and you can weight it very important, kind of important, like medium important. We'll get around to it when we get around to it. You can also weight it by due dates, deadlines, and it will take that algorithm and create your priority list like a Kanban for you.
Nice. Now I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this free, or do you have to pay
for
additional functionality?
So there's a free, I will send that in the links or if it's in the links already.
Yes.
There is a free trial for it. And then there's additional apps that you put in. So there's a baseline fee, and then it is much more of you can buy packages, but we tend to do a menu. One of the things that we use is Confluence. So that's an app that's separate that you add on. Confluence is more that brain dump. So our weekly meetings, we use Confluence to brain dump as a collective all the things that we need to do that week. And then it gets sucked up into our tasks, and then we can assign them more easily.
Nice.
So, but that's a separate app. So it's definitely not free. Trello is free. I think if you are starting to get busier as a publisher, you need to look at something like this because it is certainly still better than trying to take an hour a day to project manage yourself.
Right. I think that a lot of people say, I don't want to invest in a project management system because I don't have the money. But do you have the time? Because the time equals the money. Like,
you have to figure out when. And we, that was a early on for us decision because I had worked in corporate world. Jeff worked at Bose corporate world. So we were both familiar with it. So for us, we could see the value in it. It's much harder when you haven't experienced it. So using a Trello first, using something that's free first, and then maybe that's the level you need. Maybe you don't need more. For us, we have a lot of contractors. So for us to assign it to contractors is much easier.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very good, solid, achievable explanation there. I like it.
Oh, thank you for that lovely feedback.
Yes.
What do you got for us next?
Thank you. Well, now I am going to go down a rabbit hole because I am super, super passionate about this. And we have tons of links in the description this week, guys. Like if you just went through all of that, it would blow your mind. But one of the things that I have really gotten into is a system called Productive Flourishing. And what it has is so many different little like printables where you can use things. And sometimes I won't even print the printables. I will remake the printables in a Google Sheet so that I can continue and then share out to my team what we have going on. But all of it comes off of scheduling yourself to be productive. And it's called block scheduling. And there are 4 different blocks that you would probably be using at work. There's the focus block, the social block, the admin block, and the recovery block. And there's also a reason why you schedule them the way that you do. And it's based on whatever your specific chronotype is, which sounds weird, but you're a type of person that is more productive in certain times of the day. All of us are. We all just have our own thing. If it's like a morning person, a night owl, whatever. And what you can do in order to implement better productivity strategies is get yourself scheduled to work when you're being productive. So a night owl, they're going to get stuff done from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. A lark is going to be up at 4 a.m. and get most of their big stuff done by noon. And then I think this is hilarious that they named it this, but an emu, an emu is an afternoon person from noon to 8. And I'm like, all right, cool. Emu. Who knew? But
so it was, wait, what was the first one?
Okay, first one was night owl. I mean, that's pretty standard, right? A lark.
That's us.
Well, I'm a weird animal. I'm like, okay, I am a lark, but I'm also turning into a night owl because I can't do it in the morning because of children. Yeah. So, but an emu, like noon to 8. Okay, whatever. Maybe there's do we have any emus in the chat? I mean,
the noon to 8.
Noon to 8. Is that your jam? Yeah. So, focus blocks are your priority blocks. They are when you're creative, you're inspired, you are going to achieve your high value tasks. If you're a designer, you are ready to design. If you are an artist, you are feeling extremely creative and you can just bust out your illustrations, things like that. And the thing is that that's when you need to block out all your distractions, and it's 90 to 120 minutes. It's just like, everybody go away, and you've got that amount of time built in, and it is exhausting because you're really cranking it. And so you've got probably no more than 2 to 3 of those in you a day. And I think that like people think that you're going to achieve that 8 hours every day. I mean, it's not realistic. So that's when you've got these other blocks that come in. You've got your social block, which is focus and social are actually a lot alike. Social blocks are you're not creating, you're connecting. And so a connection opportunity is meetings and reaching out to people 90 to 120 minutes. But I would say if you can make 1 day a week a no meeting day. That sounds kind of crazy during COVID, but if you can do that, it'd be amazing.
If you can do it.
If you can do it, or talk to your team about that being a priority. I think that no meeting Monday or no meeting whatever, like that's worth your time.
So the challenge for me in that specific realm is when you're also wearing all the hats. So for, wearing all the hats, being a parent, so your outside obligations as well, and as well as wearing all the hats in your company. So for me, I have to have a day where I'm writer Julie.
Right.
I can't go from writing to project management in the same day. So when you say you only have 2 or 3 in you, not only that, I can't switch my big chunks of time from thinking about and focusing on one aspect of my job to revamping it. So and knowing that in a day, there's also going to be 2 to 5 fires to put out. So I know I'm going to be writing, and I'm going to take all that mental energy to switch to putting out a fire, which is not anywhere near the wheelhouse of writing,
right,
or where my brain is.
Right.
So it is a big challenge, and it is important. I also find that a lot of writers, this is a very good writing technique as well, where it's even shorter, where you say, what can I do in 20 minutes? How many words can I put on the page in 20 minutes? And you're doing it in even smaller crunches, because it forces you to not get in your head about writing. If you're just putting it out, so brain dumping, basically,
right.
on the page, you're writing, you don't have time to self-critique. So, like, you're getting it on the page so that you can then go back and revise it, and the actual thought process and the creative process, which takes a lot of mind energy,
right,
is done. So even breaking it down smaller.
That's kind of where these other 2 blocks go, because they're lower energy blocks. So admin block, you don't have everything that's in you to go right at that moment, or you don't have everything. You're having an introverted kind of day, and you're like, I just can't people today. So
I can't people today.
I can't people.
Many days.
Yes. And so a lower energy admin block you can stick in there as support work. Like, you're going to check your emails, you're going to do your bookkeeping, you're going to file, you're going to maybe get a bunch of shipping done. And those are 30 to 60 minutes. But for me, knowing that I have an admin block coming helps me not stress out about the pile of email. I'm like, okay, the first thing in the morning, like last week when Kurt was talking about, you do for his morning routine, you do the emergencies, and then all of a sudden jump into a project. He's using his chronotype to get his focus block in, and he can then get to the rest of the stuff because he knows that he will. So, and then of course you've got your recovery blocks that everybody ignores, which is, how does your personality recharge? Are you introverted, so you need to have your alone time? Are you extroverted, so you need to go out and have some coffee? I know yesterday I got to go to coffee, and 2 days ago I got to go to coffee, and I had a couple appointments, and so I saw people that were not related to me, and I felt so good that night. It was glorious. And so just no, and doing a recovery block for 30 minutes after a focus block or social block, that is a really good time to do that. You need to intersperse them throughout the day. And if you, in the description box, it talks about, I think I put on there, it's productiveflourishing.com/time blocking. And it even has a time blocking printable where it shows admin, focus, blah, blah, blah. And it just shows each day. And yes, all of that is flexible.
So you've put that in the links already?
Yes,
or we're going?
It's perfect. In the links in the description.
So the one final piece that to talk about would also be a way that helps you also focus, which is Google Streak. If you want to talk about that as well.
Yeah, so Google Streak is a real quick thing I just wanted to mention. I think I just, okay. Anyways, I'm going to sit better.
Gravity is still in full effect.
What just happened? So Google Streak is a free add-on to your G Suite, and it basically just tracks. It's kind of like HubSpot in that it tracks your emails and says who's opened it at what time, how many times, and then If they didn't answer you, it'll say, hey, did you follow up on this conversation? And all of that thinking done for me, worth it.
Oh, it's totally worth it. And it also gives you sentence starters.
Yes.
Which to me is a great, like, it's such a weird thing, but I'm like so focused on how to have the perfect starting to something as a writer that it sometimes like it catches me up. So if it already gives you the, hey, thanks for giving me this information about the X, which was the topic in the subject line. Right. I'm like, right, cool, thank you. And then I can finish my response.
Excellent.
It's kind of genius. So looking at the comments,
before you do that, you want to just hit the top tips and then we'll go ahead and cap off?
Absolutely. Top tips. So my top tip was if something looks like it's too big of a task, it is. Break it down into smaller components. If you're overwhelmed, you've made it too big, break it up into smaller bits.
Yes, absolutely. And mine is try multiple styles. There are so many different things, and we've put so many of those in the descriptions. Like I look into bullet journaling, look into Notion, look into Trello, look into productive flourishing. There's so many different ways because everybody processes information and motivation differently. And I'm happy to, if you guys want to message me, I kind of know the type of personalities that go that route. So let me know, and I'd be happy to recommend one that I think would fit your personality specifically. But there are so many. Don't get discouraged if one doesn't work.
Right.
All right. What do we got for comments?
I saw one about hydrating, which I thought was important.
I mean,
so something that we didn't talk about is the fatigue that you get, and it's that, stop. Look away from your screen every 20 minutes. Make sure that you're focused on something else. Make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids and fluids, because you can get in the zone and not want to leave the zone, but then crash out because you're taking all your energy and you haven't noticed. That's an excellent one as well.
Yes, I'm not seeing the actual who said that one. Is it Allison?
Allison said it.
Yes,
she also said that one. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then I missed. Oh, there it is. Hydrate. Speaking of,
she had some great tips during it. I also very much enjoyed Kurt's commentary. Yes, a lot of hydrate. Kurt's commentary about needing to get a team.
Yes. Yes. I mean, that's all goals. # goals. Kurt, thank you. Get a team.
You really need one. Although you are a powerhouse in and of yourself, you probably need a team at this point.
I do. So, and then he also, of course, says being a Cylon is very, very helpful for avoiding fatigue. I will also work on that. Aspirations. I mean, Kurt is just absolute goals.
Cool. So, what's going on with you this week, Rachel?
Oh, let me see. I've got stuff to show. I'm so excited. Okay, so on your left. Well, I don't know. Is it you're on your left? Whatever. But okay, so I'm doing something really exciting on Saturday morning. That's tomorrow. Oh, it's tomorrow. Where we had a really cool GenCon panel that we did, and it was basically explaining that you can thrive in the microgame market and how. And I got together with some small game publishers, Jason Tagmeyer from Button Shy, you've got Caesar from Alley Cat, Adam from XYZ is into that as well, and then there's me. And in the comments right now, Laszlo, he is actually our moderator, and he is all sorts of hilarious. So it's a real fun time to chat, and we all have quite a fun chemistry. So I think it'll be really cool in that we're going to do a deep dive, because after we did that overview, I kind of heard people say, well, I felt like there was a little bit more below it that you guys kind of glossed over because you were, it was the amount of time.
Listen, so I had more questions. All right. I had more questions.
Let's just call a spade a spade. I mean, Julie is like, no, that was not good enough and I need more. So this is all her fault.
I had more questions.
And so we're going to do it for her because I love Julie. And so we're going to do 5 of these. It's going to be over the next 5 months. We're just going to do once a month. We'll do a Saturday morning at 10 Eastern. And we are going to talk about the different parts of making small games and how they are different from doing traditional larger games. And so what we're going to start with
was information for me, like just the education standpoint.
Right.
Because I don't know if we'll ever do a micro game at Greenbrier Games. Probably not. But I like knowing that aspect of the industry.
You are a learner. It's true.
And then what else?
Oh, well, I was just going to say we're going to do design and development for this week. And then we'll continue on doing like Kickstarter, manufacturing, fulfillment and distribution. And then finally, we'll talk about packaging and shelf presence when you have a small game. So other than that, we announced this week on Tuesday that we are going to go to Kickstarter on October 15th with the Poketto collection. And it is 3 small games, and there are 3 very different themes. And in the description box, you can learn more. It's like a little landing page that you can sign up to hear about what's coming up and what they are. So that's the news with Rachael this week.
And then just 2 days before your Kickstarter, we'll be starting ours for Lost Ones. So I'm very excited about this game. It's beautiful. It's visually beautiful. The story and the narrative is beautiful. And the concept is you're a young person who fell asleep and woke up in this strange world. It's a 1 to 4 player game. So you might have woken up by yourself, or you've woken up with several strangers, and you know that you are in a strange land that isn't your own. You don't know how you got there. You don't know why you were taken. All you know is that you want to go home. So the object of the game is to find your way home. And if not, you become a lost one. The narration is beautiful. The art is gorgeous. It's still, even though the premise has this, we like to do horror, so it has those undertones. We kept it to a very PG level so that it never gets too graphic. It's more of a mystery than it is a scary story, so that it's more family friendly still. And the whole idea is that you are moving around the map to explore it, to try to find one of the many ways out. But the problem being, when you go to a location, which you then read about in your storybook, upside down, your storybook, you can do different actions. And each one sounds intriguing and interesting, but is it one that will help you find a way out because you've determined which of the ways have you found a way out? Have you found the right things that you need to get, the right clues, the right information to use that exit? Or did you follow a whole bunch of different paths and now you've run out of time? Did the nightmare catch you while you were looking for them?
Oh, Julie.
So it's, yes, it's pure storytelling. It's beautiful. And Gordon Alford, who did the Of Dreams and Shadows series for us, it's pure Gordon, which is this very sweet and very haunting type of writing, because he has done a lot of creation for fantasy MMOs. And you can feel that kind of feel to it in the whole game.
You sound so tender as you're describing. I
love this game so much. I do. Yeah. So it's coming to Kickstarter October 13th. We also have a landing page that you can sign up for. And if you do sign up early, we have a Kickstarter exclusive shiny metal coin that comes for free if you've signed up for the newsletter to let you know when the Kickstarter goes live and you back the Kickstarter. So
links in the description.
That's what's happening below. With me.
And we want to do a shout out. Marshall Britt. Okay, this exists because of Marshall Britt, because I loved watching his live stream where he drank some coffee and he talked about a board game mechanic and something that's going on in the industry. And it was perfect. And I loved connecting with him every week. And, it just felt, it was the hug that I get from this. And so I just wanted to, if you guys don't know Marshall Britt, he's the ops manager at Leader Games. He owns Yanaguana Games, and he created Stir Fry 18, Record, and just was announced that he's working with Borderlands Gearbox to do Bunkers and Badasses, which is a RPG. And I just adore him, and I wanted to. He was actually our very first follower on your Invited's page, and it's like goals. So that's my
He also
fangirling.
has a magnificent beard.
Yes,
and he loves diners. That's my contribution.
He's
awesome.
So next week
we are doing Confessions of Inadequacy. I'm super psyched.
I wrote this and I said, this is going to be hard. And then she's like, no, I got this.
I'm so
I am so well.
I have a very masochistic streak in me. I love talking about how I failed or how I feel like I've failed. I'm ready.
Oh my goodness.
But next week, because we're definitely going long again because we're chatty McGoos.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, I felt like we taught a lot this week, and that makes me happy, and I hope that it was worth the extra time. But
yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, and all the links are in the description box.
Enjoy your Friday. And remember that next week, you're invited.